Welcome to Doctrine and Devotion, a podcast that explores Christian faith and practice from a Reformed Baptist perspective. My name is Joe Thorne. I'm the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois.
And I'm Jimmy Fowler, elder candidate at Redeemer Fellowship.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yep, we can finally smoke.
Yeah.
Finally.
Where are we?
Your back porch.
That's right. Chilling on the back porch. It's I like the back porch because we're surrounded by trees and it's pretty out and it's nice out. But my favorite thing is that after like 2 o'clock, the sun is behind the house, so I don't get cooked.
Yep.
Yeah. Otherwise, because I'd burn like a vampire.
You do.
I gotta have it shaved.
I'm actually surprised you're outside. You hate being outside.
In the sun. I don't mind being outside. I don't like being in the sun.
No, even when we've done it like
No.
at Levita and stuff, we're like, all right, man, let's sit outside. You're like, no.
No, because it's sunny
I don't
out.
want that.
It's because of the heat.
Yeah, but they have it doesn't matter. They got that
Not
shade,
always.
that umbrella.
Not always.
Even when they have the shade umbrella, you don't want to go.
Well, first of all, it's a hard stone bench. It's
feels
not
good.
No, it doesn't. It'll give you piles or something. It's not a good thing.
No, it feels great.
No,
it's nice and cold, so you're even cooler.
No, I don't like it. And it's a hard stone table. You can't kick back. There's no backrest.
There's no backrest.
Yeah, that ain't cool.
I'll give you that.
All right. So, yeah.
You know what else does it have? It doesn't have a screen door that's just sitting on the side and not put away.
That's weird.
Why don't you put it up?
Because it's broken. I got to throw it away. So we're in my back porch, and the kids know to stay off the back porch. But right now, I think Killian is peeking out his window.
Come on, man. Punch you in the face.
Oh, but he'll come up there and punch you in the face. You heard him.
Get you.
Hey, Killian.
Go through the door, up the stairs.
Hey, Killian. Say it real loud. What's this guy's name over here? Fofo, that's right. All right, now be quiet. Go away.
He goes, okay.
He's a good kid. He fell hard outside of church today.
Did he?
Oh, yeah, I was running. Jen's like, okay, you can have the rest of my Coke from McDonald's. So he's got this large Coke. He's half full, and he's running with it to the car, trips and falls, skins up his knee and his arms, and loses all the Coke. It was
I
awesome.
feel bad for him about the Coke.
It was funny.
So no Coke?
No,
Did you get him another
I
one?
took care of him. Yeah, I know what's going on.
Good.
Come on, man. And then I took Catherine driving today.
Mm-hmm.
Took her all over driving. Now it's legal to do that because she has her
Now
permit.
it's legal to do that for girls to go driving?
No, for me to take her out driving, it's now legal for me to do so.
Oh, I thought you were trying to make a joke like,
no.
it's now legal for women to drive.
No, I used to take her out when she didn't have her permit, let her drive, so.
What are we talking about today, Joe?
Hey, we're talking about, wait, she's got to learn. I was driving when I was 14.
Yeah, different time, different era, and yeah, no wonder you are the way you are.
Yeah, I didn't have permission to take those cars out. So, yeah, we are going to be talking about something near and dear to the Baptist heart. All you Baptists are going to be like, oh, yeah, we're talking about cooperation. Cooperation, man. Like it's an important thing. It's a Baptist principle. Even though every Baptist church is autonomous, it governs itself under the authority of Scripture and the lordship of Christ,
And
with its own elders.
we're known to, splinter and...
Oh, yeah, we'll split it up.
We'll split it up.
We'll do
no
our
matter
own
what.
thing.
So we love and value cooperation, though.
We
love and value.
we
working together.
love cooperation so much. When you won't let us cooperate with you, we'll just cooperate with ourselves and start our own thing. Remember that time when they wouldn't let us slaveholding people plant churches? Remember that? And we were like, okay, fine, we'll just get all the slaveholding Baptists together and we'll start our own association.
Oh, what was that association called again?
I don't
Joe?
remember. Was it Slavery Baptist Convention?
Oh, I don't know.
No, SBC. I don't know.
SBC something.
So, yeah, we do believe in cooperation because we do believe it's easier to accomplish more good for the kingdom as churches work together, and we see this principle in Scripture. Paul was constantly interacting with a number of churches that would work together for the cause of the gospel, for planting churches, and for supporting missionaries. So we want to do that, but the way Baptists envision it is a little bit different than the way other groups would envision it, because we really don't like the idea of a hierarchy of authority, so that there are synods that we have to answer to. Yeah. We don't believe a denomination has authority over a church and can install its pastors or
remove pastors
right.
So
the level at which we cooperate is essentially we agree on certain convictional theological issues, and that's the basis around which we partner and find unity, and we pool our resources, and we move on from there.
Okay.
So this is why a lot of Baptists will say, well, the Southern Baptist Convention is not a denomination because it doesn't have this hierarchical authority structure built into it. But they can't. While they can remove a church, they can't dictate what a church is or isn't going to do.
Okay.
What a church can and cannot preach. But if you transgress the theological boundaries as spelled out in the confession, then you can be removed. So they might just say, well, that's why it's called a convention and not a denomination. Casually, most SBCers refer to it as a denomination.
Yeah.
But that's different than other denominations and groups where there is that authority structure. PC USA, PCA, for example, OPC. There is a structure of authority there. But even though we have disagreements about where the authority should be invested and all of that, what we all agree on is cooperation and working together for the cause of Christ, right?
Absolutely. That there's, I don't want to say like strength in numbers, but when you pool those resources together, it's not just a financial resource, but you're drawing from this community of believers to accomplish this goal of proclaiming the gospel of Christ to the glory of God.
And ideally, right, one of the things that comes out of this is, like you said, it's not just financial. That might be a part of it. But one of the things that should come out of this is a kinship and a brotherhood around shared convictions and theology and ideology.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, among the Southern Baptist Convention, which is a pretty broad tent of Baptists, so it's not broad enough to include non-Baptists, but it is a big tent. So you have the traditionalists,
yep.
right? And so, and you have Calvinists, and
That's
then
right.
you have other variations of Baptists in there. And we can, in theory, we're supposed to be able to get along and get things done. The narrower the parameters of your cooperation theologically, then the more commonality you have with each other. And my experience has been the easier it is for us to have the kind of coaching and accountability that we really need when there's more a close-knit theological consensus, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. But so you said, we've got this kind of broad tent. So then are you saying then that's not a good model, I think?
No, I think it is.
You want it to be more narrower? Is that?
I like that we're a part of a convention that is broad, because I'm down to cooperate and learn from all kinds. And, we joined the SBC not to get anything out of it, but to give. We love their international missions. Their church planting North American Mission Board is really turned a corner and is doing a lot of great stuff. The disaster relief is amazing. We've got some great seminaries, Southern and Midwestern in particular, Southeastern. And we have some really great leaders and scholars, so we love that. And now, as a church that has grown and has been planting churches, now we're getting support for a lot of our church planters, interns, and residents. So, we like the broad tent. We do think that's cool. But what I've found is that what I get out of the convention is one thing, but what I get out of the network that we're a part of, which is more narrowly defined theologically, I get something different. No,
you're talking about 829? Like, right. You're talking about the Acts 29 network.
Acts 29 is the other group or tribe.
Association.
That we are a part of.
Yeah.
And like the SBC, there's no authority structure above us that can tell us what to do in our churches.
Except for Chandler. Chandler can come in and kick the door down and say,
well, yeah,
you got to do this.
No, he's the Pope. He's the 829 Pope. So that's different.
That's different.
Nobody else.
Noel can't come in and say.
It's a
Jeff Brewer can't come say anything.
No.
But only Chandler.
Okay. But that's obviously.
Obviously.
I mean, I thought everybody knew that.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah. No, the Right Reverend, the Most Holy, Matty Chan.
Matty Chan.
Yeah.
Yep.
So no, not even Matty Chan can come in and tell us what to do. We all learn from each other. It's great. But the truth is that because we all share a Calvinistic soteriology, because we all have the same basic philosophy of missional, because we believe in the plurality of elders and a robust understanding of the Holy Spirit in the life of the believer, that the commonality there, when I am looking for insight, is a little easier to find.
Yeah.
Because when I'm looking at the big tent, it's like, let me put it this way. You're a young church planter or a young pastor, you're looking for some wisdom, and you say, okay, I've got a problem. I've got 3 elders. One of them is moving, and the other one is thinking about stepping down because he's having personal issues. That means it's going to be me and another guy, and I don't have anybody else in the church that is qualified right now to serve as an elder. What do I do?
Yeah.
Now, if you're in the Southern Baptist Convention, the majority of Southern Baptist pastors can't help you because the majority of Southern Baptist churches do not have a plurality of elders. And so you couldn't just easily go to them, but you could hit up any 829 church and get wisdom from those that have at least been doing this a little bit longer than you. So that's where I get, for us, we've gotten better coaching in ministry from Acts 29 in a lot of ways.
And I think part of that is not only just the plurality of elders, right?
Right.
But also just that the majority of 829 churches have been church plants themselves.
Yeah, so they've been
and
there.
so they've been there. They've gone through this struggle of as you're starting up and as you're getting out there, how do you handle these common issues that plague church plants?
And it's like anything when you're, you have questions in ministry, like how should I approach this book? What's the best way to make disciples in my church? Should I go with small groups? Should I go with Sunday school? And it's not that there's one way that's better than another, but when you have a shared missiology and a shared understanding of how to engage the culture, it's a little bit easier to answer some of those questions than it is in a broad tent where a lot of different perspectives are merging. So what we get out of the SBC is the joy of cooperating with many kinds of people that are reaching different groups, and we get to accomplish a lot on a broad scale, on a large scale. In the network, smaller scale, more focused on church planting and coaching and things like that. But, cooperation, we can talk about how awesome cooperation is. Mm-hmm. It's not always easy.
No, it's not easy, and it's not always hunky-dory, and I think there's a couple reasons for that. One is because we are autonomous. We don't really like people telling us what to do. We don't want other people to come in here and step in and say, hey, so we have this kind of defensiveness or this maybe a pride.
Can be,
at times, of not wanting to kind of listen to the common wisdom that's out there, or the collective wisdom. And I think the other part of it is when the association or cooperation is not doing what it was meant to do, then there's really no point.
Right. I think that last piece hits on something that I think is common for all denominations, tribes, associations, and networks, which is every one of those things is imperfect.
Yep.
It's run by sinful people.
Absolutely.
And so they're going to screw up.
Yep.
If you were in charge, it would probably be screwed up even more.
Absolutely.
I don't mean you. I mean any person listening.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and if it was me.
And if it was me, even worse. That's why I'm not in charge of anything.
It would burn to the ground.
It wouldn't even. It wouldn't even catch fire. It would just fall over, and people would ignore it.
That's what happens when it falls down.
When it falls down. It sounds like that cartoon guy that drives the car, like a race car cartoon the kids like.
I don't know what you're talking
about.
Yeah,
it's like that thing.
I don't even know.
It's like a red car, and he races, and he goes, Chika!
Speed Racer?
No, that was back when we were kids.
Well, then I don't know who a red car that's racing.
It's a famous red car. All the kids like it. It's a movie.
Wait a second. Shh. I know it. I can see
he goes,
Lightning McQueen.
He goes, Chika!
Lightning McQueen.
That's the name of it?
Well, that's the name of the car.
What's the movie?
I don't know.
Oh, anyway. You got younger
Cars?
kids.
It was called Cars.
No.
The movie was Cars.
No, it wasn't.
Google it.
I'm not Googling it. What was I talking about?
You were talking about Lightning McQueen. Ka-ta!
No, it would fall over.
Yeah, it would fall over.
So what happens is these organizations, they struggle and they will misstep, and sometimes they'll do the wrong thing, and that can be frustrating because you've got a group of people that are all trying to accomplish the same goal, but there's even in a tight network of people that share a common philosophy, there's still going to be differences of opinion and disagreements, and it can be frustrating when people are misstepping or making mistakes, or when they just flat out blow it and sin and hurt your reputation or the reputation of the organization. But here's something that's common, and I'll just speak about we can speak about both of our art groups, but in Acts 29, the most common complaint that I've heard over the past 9 years of being in Acts 29 has been, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
What the heck is going on? And the problem has been that Acts 29 is a young and quickly growing network, so it's always changing. And that comes with the territory. Yeah. We can complain about it all what we want, but what do you expect? You start with 10 churches, and you get 50 churches, and you get 100 churches. I think I came in when there was 200 churches, and now there's 800 or 600, 700 churches.
I have no idea.
So, and as it develops, it gets more complex. You got to do things differently, and we're learning and maturing at the same time. So things like, listen, when I signed up, it was a certain way. Now it is not that way, and I miss the old way.
Yeah.
But that's
because you miss Mark Driscoll. You wanted that.
No,
format.
No.
And once that changed,
no.
You were like, hey, come
why
on
do you
now,
do that?
guys.
Why do you do that? No, but that's not. Come on, man. So there are. You're so happy with yourself right now.
I am so happy right now. That's for the sermon this morning.
What?
That's for the sermon this morning.
Yeah, I did talk about it in the sermon today, and I didn't plan for it. It just popped into my head. At least in the first service. Second service, I went ahead and said it again. But I talked about how I like to hide in the church and I turn off all the lights and I scare Jimmy. It's awesome. Everybody, they like that. They like
I
that
had
story.
2 people after the service trying to scare me, like pop out of nowhere, like older,
Oh yeah, like the elderly ones.
like elderly ladies.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And Jimmy goes, "Chicka."
I was like, "Tika." It's a da, not a chicka.
So yeah, there's always going to be those kinds of frustrations as well as the other things that you mentioned. It can be hard, but what is okay? So on a practical level, what are some ways in which cooperation has benefited our local church? And I want us to talk about that because there are a lot of churches out there that don't really cooperate, and they're looking for places to plug in. I've had a number of Acts 29 churches, so they're already cooperating, right, with the Acts 29 network, but they sense like, man, we could be doing more. We want to cooperate more. And so they come to me and they ask, what should we do? And what they always want to know is, what do I get out of it?
Yeah.
What's in it for me?
And I think that's the wrong question to be asking.
Right.
I think if that's what you're asking, then all you're looking for is money. In my head, when I hear someone saying, "What do I get out of this?" especially as a church plant or as I'm hearing, "Man, what can I get financially out of this?" Or, okay, let's give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt that it's not about money.
Well, there's a good way to ask, and basically, what is the benefit? What is the value?
benefit?
What is the
Okay.
value? Is it worth it?
Is it worth it? And so, yes, it either comes down to financially or it comes down to some other kind of resource, some kind of other. Maybe not teaching, but there are resources out there that
We've only got so much time.
We've only got so much time.
So it's fair to ask: is this worth our time as a church?
But I think the question shouldn't be what do we get out of it or what's the value to us. I think the real question is what value can we bring to the association itself.
Yeah, well, I guess there's 2 ways I think about that though, because in some networks, the churches exist for the association. Whereas historically, Baptist associations have existed for the local churches.
Okay.
And so yes, we want what can I bring to the association?
What can I bring to the table here to help them?
To help the
fulfill?
other churches. Yeah. So what can I do? But I don't think it's wrong to say okay, so nevertheless, I guess in answering that question, you can clarify, well, you know what? I can't do much because they don't see things the way that we see them, and we would offer coaching or resources from our church, and they wouldn't take that. All they would take is the money. So it can go both ways, right?
It can go both ways.
People can be
but
greedy
like you said,
for money as churches or associations.
Yeah. So, but then how about this? Okay, if you're saying, and I agree with you, I didn't think about it in that end. About let's just give the person the benefit of the doubt. It's about how do I, what's the value of it that's going to help us because time is limited for us. I think one is there is a sense of accountability if you're open and honest with each other, right? It is a place that I know that, I haven't seen it just because I'm not necessarily part of those meetings, but I know that there are meetings where these pastors are able to go and kind of share and talk about what's going on in their local church.
Right.
And be able to ask for advice that you were talking about before. And there's accountability there. There's other brothers that are able to say, hey, how you handled this could have been handled maybe a little bit better. Watch yourself on this, or here's some things that I've struggled with when I've gone down that path, and here's some of the things I've learned, some lessons, and so try to go about it in this way. So I do think there is value because there's accountability. You're not isolated yourself, but I also think your church is not isolated in of itself.
Right.
Then we start to teach our people that we're just meant to be independent instead of cooperating with other brothers and sisters for the broader mission of proclaiming the gospel worldwide.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I think, one of the benefits is it's a tangible way of showing how you are a part of the church universal.
Yeah.
Right? So we can all agree, we're all one church and we should all be getting along, but why do we have these denominations? And it's all about splintering and fracturing and we're all separate. But in reality, I think what those denominations and networks and conventions do is it allows us to have a connection to the broader body of Christ in such a way that allows us to see and to feel, to not just recognize, but to actually experience, wow, we're actually connected. We're actually working towards something together with other churches. Those are I know that those PCA guys down the church and the OPC guys down the road, those are my brothers and sisters. But when you're a part of a network, it's even more so because you should be having more interaction with them, or at the very least, that you have great commonality with them doctrinally. So I like the idea that it gives us a way to see how we are connected to other churches and we're not just on our own. I think that cooperation, though, we can talk about how it's difficult at times.
Yeah.
We can talk about the upside, but because you were saying, what can we bring to the table, right? So we talked about some of the things you get out of it. Let me just wrap that up by saying this. What do we get out of it? Like I said, when we started Acts 29. I'm sorry. We didn't start Acts 29. When we started, stop it.
There's Joe.
Back when I started Acts 29. So when we started Redeemer Fellowship, we launched as a Southern Baptist church, and then we joined Acts 29 about I don't know, a month later, a couple months later, I forget. And so immediately we weren't getting anything out of the Southern Baptist Convention, unless, of course, you look at my seminary background. Yep. I went to Southern Seminary. I'm sorry, I went to the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, and so like my tuition was cut dramatically because I was a Southern Baptist. So that benefited the local church that we planted, and as well as it benefited me. But outside of that, we were just giving. We just wanted to participate. Yeah. Then we joined Acts 29, and we got coaching from that, and I got a lot of close brothers that I was able to talk to regularly. Over time, as our church began to plant churches and do more, the SBC said, "Hey, we see what you're doing. We want to help you. How can we help you?"
Yeah.
And the first thing I said was, "Give us money, because if you want to help, like that's something that we need." And they said, "Okay, we can do that. How else can we help?" And I said, "Well, some partnerships with our church plants, some coaching opportunities, if you guys can do that." And so we have this great relationship now with the SBC. So you get a lot
more so than 829 at this point.
At this point, yeah. Actually, if we're just being honest, now those roles have kind of reversed. Now, we're in 829. We love 829, but I don't get a whole lot out of it on a personal level or at church. It's sort of like, well, we're in 829 for what we can contribute. Yeah, all of our churches that have planted are Acts 29 and SBC. And but the SBC has really upped its game in a lot of ways over these past 10 years or so, and they've been really supportive of us and of what we're doing. So there's a lot that we get out of it. We have our seminaries, we have retreat centers. There's all kinds of stuff. But what should churches be looking to give of themselves when it comes to partnering with a network, association, or denomination? Obviously, there's the financial part. But what else?
I think one is prayer, just prayerfully
Sincerely.
getting involved.
We can do better. We can do a lot better there.
Oh yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
like as Redeemer, we could be praying more for our two networks, Convention and Network, and for those churches on a regular basis, even in corporate worship. I think we should be doing better there.
So I think trying to figure out a intentional way of I guess encouraging the body to be praying for church plants, for the planters, getting kind of some updates and letting people know what's going on in the life of these individuals, as well as in the life of the convention and in the life of, I guess, the association with Acts 29, right? Mm-hmm. I think another way is actually getting involved, right? Like, don't just be on the sidelines. And I think that means getting to the meetings.
Right.
I think actually being a part of, if we're frustrated with what's going on, whether it's the SBC or 829 or whatever association or cooperation that you're a part of, sitting on the sidelines doesn't really do anything. But getting involved, humbly and respectfully, lending your voice, I think, can do something, because you might not be the only one. Maybe there's other people that are also frustrated, and maybe there could be some positive things that can change. They need to hear from the ground level what's going on in your local church and in your area, and it could have big impact all around.
Right. So we can give financially, but what you're saying is we give of our time.
Yeah, give our time.
We give of ourselves. So I think the idea of going to the annual or national meetings or the global summits,
or even the regional meetings. How are you going to get to know people around
exactly
you?
Right.
If you're not involved in what's going on there.
So there are different avenues and levels at which you should be participating in these local networks. And beyond that, you have your time, you have your treasures, and then what Baptists like to say, you have your talents, your gifts. And you can be investing there. Now, that would boil down more to serving. If there is an opportunity for you to serve, if there is an opportunity for you to help other churches in your network by serving on a committee or something like that. I was the vice moderator of the local association of Southern Baptists here in the Fox Valley for a couple of years. That means I had to moderate meetings, and I'd wear a sport coat and the whole thing.
Wait, you wore a sport coat?
Oh, we've gone over this before. So yeah, and I like you have to be willing to give of yourself. If it's supposed to matter, then we should be involved. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't seasons at which you are less involved.
Yeah.
But in general, we think it is important. If it's worth it, then we should be there. So I definitely think that's a good thing. Now, if we're encouraging people to cooperate, I would say if you're looking for that opportunity, number one, figure out who you are and where you are. Do you have a confessional identity? That'll narrow it down. If you don't, you need to figure that out. This will help you figure out, we're going to plug into the Evangelical Free People, or we're going to plug into, we're going to apply for membership as a Presbyterian church. I have no idea. Or ARBCA, right? The Association of Reformed Baptist Churches in America. Great guys there. We love them. They're starting that seminary. It's happening. Super cool.
I think they want us.
Oh, they don't want us.
In the denomination?
No way.
No, we're too...
No way.
You don't think so?
No.
You think we're too liberal?
We're not liberal. What? No, we're not
know.
liberal.
Are they too conservative for us?
No, it's not. That's not the issue. We're weird.
How are we weird?
Oh, really?
I think. All right, let's
all right,
have
we
a poll
are
out
weird
there.
compared.
Let's have a poll out there. You're telling me what denomination wouldn't want us?
Every denomination.
No, I don't believe that.
Yeah, no.
No. Theological differences aside, let's just say, right?
No, we don't have theological differences with ARBCA.
Not them. I'm just talking about. I think everyone wants. I think E-Free would want us.
Listen, let me put it this way.
I think Presbyterians
if you're just
would
looking
want
at the church, yes, they would want Redeemer. Maybe if they could sideline Jimmy and Joe, that might be a little bit of a sweeter deal. You're crazy, man. They ain't want us in there.
Oh, we'll find out.
Nobody wants us in there.
I got the text from Jim the Man Renahan.
Oh, really?
He's all mad at Justin. J-Bond.
Why?
Because J-Bond talked us out of it. Told us we were too
He did say we were too liberal.
He said
but
we're too
not.
liberal.
That's crazy.
I know.
We were
Thanks,
hanging with
J-Bond.
Jim. Yeah.
Hey, guess what, guys? Yeah, ARBCA, sorry.
Sorry, blame it on J-Bond.
Blame it on J-Bond. We wanted to come to Phoenix and come to that annual meeting to kind of get to know you guys and see what's up, but J-Bond ruined it.
J-Bond ruins everything, except our audio.
Except our audio. Thanks, J-Bond.
So here's the thing. Figure out where you're at theologically, and then take a look at the other networks, denominations, associations that you might want to plug into, and begin talking to those people.
Yeah.
Talk to pastors before you talk to the leadership. Talk to the leadership. Actually take your time. Involve the leadership of your church, and begin to explore that. You should be cooperating with other churches to accomplish Great Commission duties and responsibilities. So we want to encourage you to do that, and it's been a great help to us, but you know what? We've been able to help others, and that's been even, I feel like, more rewarding as we think about it.
I'm going to give a shout-out. I know we usually don't do these kind of things, but I'm going to do it anyways. If you are looking to plant a church, and if you're looking to plant a church in the Chicagoland area, you need to hit up Chris Wright.
Oh, you're going to throw it out there.
You need to hit up Chris Wright from Send Chicago.
Right.
Hook him up, or what's their URL? And is it NAM? It's NA.
No, I don't know what it is.
They have a different.
You're
website.
doing this without any prep.
I'm sorry because I'm thinking about it right now.
Well, yeah, but you should have looked it up.
No, because I want to start looking at my other.
But
stuff.
nobody's going to know how to get a hold of him.
Okay,
now.
but while you look it up, I'm going to say you need to hit up Chris Wright. Chris is the regional guy here. He's the person that can kind of set you up and hook you up and get you assessed, and he'll at least get you the information to get the ball rolling and to kind of talk that through. We definitely need churches here in the Chicagoland area. We need men to come and to plant churches, to reach their communities, to proclaim the gospel here in Chicagoland. And Chris is passionate. Chris is a great man with a lot of wisdom and has a huge heart to see God's glory here in the Chicagoland area. So please,
we love Chris Wright.
If you're interested. If you're even thinking about it, hit up Chris. What's their...
All right, so here's what you do. First of all, this is really for people that are Baptist in their theology.
Yes.
So if you're not a Baptist theologically, it doesn't mean you've been a part of the SBC or anything, but if you're theologically Baptist, you want to talk to Chris Wright. First of all, hit him up on Twitter. That is twitter.com/ChicagoPlanter.
Chicago, that's
You can't mess that up.
Nope.
Just start talking to him there. But what you can do is go to sendchicago.org/contact. You go there, and right there you get Chris's phone number and you get his email. So
don't spam him.
Don't spam him, but hit him up and tell him you're interested in coming to Chicago. Chris is one of those guys. Listen, Chris is a convention man or a denomination man, but he's not a company man.
No.
You know what I mean? You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
Oh, I know what you're saying.
He loves the SBC. He loves Chicago. He loves local churches. He loves the lost. And if you want to plant in Chicagoland, this is the guy to talk to. He is such an advocate for planters and for all things gospel-centric and missional. Like, this is the guy. Definitely. A good call, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Good call.
and we don't get a kickback for this, but tell him Jimmy and Joe sent you.
That is true. We don't. But, yeah, we would love for you to say that Joe Foe directed you to Chris.
That way next time I see him, I'll be like, what's up, Chris? Him and Q. What up, Q? I miss Q.
I miss Q. Dude, we need to hang out. We're going to get Q on the podcast. That'd be radical.
That would be radical.
All right.
Well, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Doc and Devo, or on Facebook /Doctrine and Devotion. You can head on over to our website, doctrinedevotion.com. You can click on the Contact Us page. You can sign up for our email list, or you can hit up the store. There you can grab Joe's 3 new books, his trilogy on the church, or any other T-shirts or hoodies or journals or videos that you can find there. We're going to have some fresh merchandise at some point here in the future. We've got some things that we are working on right now. Head on over to iTunes. Leave us an honest 5-star review. Fresh pod every Monday and Thursday. Blog posts on Wednesdays. Videos on Friday soon at some point. Later.